So, ladies and gentlemen, we ended talking about how Joseph reacted to his wife, showing compassion and all that. Here today we're gonna see what are some of the lessons we can learn from Joseph. From the outset, how it looked, the embarrassment this must have been, what are some of the things we can learn from Mr. Joseph here? Because many of us, when we are faced with difficult circumstances, we react in bad ways. Joseph, number one, trusted in God despite the pending ridicule he would have faced. He trusted God even though he knew this potentially could be a time of being ridiculed, even a time of death for Mary. He trusted God. It was not the ideal situation to be in for any man. To make it more complicated, the law would have been on the hunt for them. But Joseph chose to obey God, at all cost, even at the cost of his own reputation. Rumors about Jesus' birth seems to have persisted during his ministry. We can see this in John 8:19. They said to him, therefore, where is your father? Jesus answered, you know neither me nor my Father. If you knew me, you would know my Father also. John 8:41-42. You are doing the works your father did. They said to him, we were not born of sexual immorality. We have one Father, even God. Verse 42, Jesus said to them, if God were your Father, you would love me, for I come from God and I am here. I came not of my own accord, but he who sent me. The rumors were circling. That's why they were making these kind of statements to him. But Joseph chose to trust God. Number two, he also waived his legal right to avoid the responsibility for Mary and her child. Instead of divorcing her or even waiting for the time of betrothal to end, Joseph immediately took Mary home to live with him. Not only would this minimize any scandal, it allowed Joseph to begin his work of providing for his pregnant wife and the child Messiah. Joseph waived his legal right to put her away. He took her. Not only trust God, he trusted God so much that he took her home and prepared to take the responsibility of his pregnant wife and the family that he is potentially going to be having. Number three, he showed that he heard and understood God's command, though through the angel in his dream by naming the baby Jesus. He showed us that he heard God. He not only trusted God, he followed God's instruction by calling the name of the baby Jesus. Jesus is derived from the same Hebrew name from which we get Joshua and means Yahweh save. Yahweh is a Hebrew name for God. You see, Joseph, could have named the child after himself, but he listened to God. Listened to what God told him, God's instruction, and named the baby Jesus as instructed to him. Ladies and gentlemen, these are three lessons we could learn from Joseph. One, trust God despite the impending ridicule he might face. Two, he waived the legal right to avoid the responsibility and chose to follow God, what God said, and took responsibility for the child. And three, he showed that he was listening to God and followed God's instructions by naming the baby Jesus. These are some of the things. 3 things we could learn from Joseph when we are faced with difficult circumstances. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We continue with our study about the nativity or the birth of Jesus according to Matthew chapter 1, verses 18 to 24.